This is the Dream Chaser Show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name's Eric, and today I'm going to be talking to you about crushing bad habits. Now, I'm going to be upfront and honest with you. This doesn't sound extremely sexy, right? Not a lot of people want to talk about their bad habits. In fact, if you do any self-development or research self-improvement, a lot of times you'll find the things, what to do to get there, and how to make more money, and how to do this, and how to grind and hustle, and blah, blah, blah. Today's society is all about action, 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 action. Never stop, don't quit. And look, I'm all for hard work. I think you need hard work. We have to find something that really fulfills us. That's important. But just as important as that is taking some rest and looking inside of ourselves. Because guess what? You could be doing all of these crazy, awesome action steps, waking up super early, working out, doing overtime at work, and all of this stuff. But if you're not taking inventory on the actions and habits that you have behind closed doors, the ones that you have at your home, the ones that you have in your head, that stuff can absolutely destroy any chances. It can destroy all the progress you've made in the other positive areas of your life. So what I want to do today is go intrinsically and look at the bad habits the things that are hurting us. Because we all have bad habits, all right? So I promise you this will be worth your time. Stick in there with me, and I'm going to give you guys action steps, real things that you can use today to start destroying those bad habits and creating better ones. So you can achieve success and prosperity, because I believe that's possible for everybody. All right, what we want to do is learn how to control our minds when these certain urges come up that compel you to do something or repeat a behavior that you're trying to quit. All right, so you might even have something in your head right now where you're like, man, I've been trying to quit this for a long time. And I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? So we want to control our mind. We want to figure out those urges. The following process that I'm going to talk about even helps overcome addictions, compulsive behavior. It helped me overcome OCD that I've had since I was a child and other addictive habits that I've been trying to quit for years. Procrastinating was a big one for me. You know, that doesn't sound like a bad habit. It sounds like a lack of doing something, but that is a habit. Procrastination destroys our chances for achieving something that we want to. I would waste time scrolling Facebook. This was recently too. Waste time scrolling Facebook, video games, watching TV, instead of doing the things that I knew I needed to do or wanted to do. Procrastinating was huge for me, and that was a bad habit. And just as a side note, guys, keep in mind, if you have some deeper, darker habits or addictions, like those deep, dark ones that we don't tell anybody about, which, by the way, most of us have had those at one time or another. If you have these deeper, darker habits or addictions, it's going to take a little more effort to overcome it. Those things usually come over years and years and years and years of repetitive thoughts and behaviors. I think of it like this. The first time a thought passes through your brain, it's kind of like a car when it passes over a patch of grass, right? A fresh patch of grass. Picture this with me. Car goes over it, and what does it do? The first time, it'll just leave some marks. But as it drives repeatedly over that path, it starts to dig ruts. And eventually those ruts become so deep that they actually steer the car, and it can't even get out. Your thoughts and habits are just like that, which is why they call it getting stuck in a rut. You know, it makes sense. And with those deeper ruts that we have, those deeper, darker habits that we can't seem to get control of, it's going to take a little bit longer to get out of them. But I assure you, it is possible. You might even need some divine intervention, because we know through Christ, anything's possible. So with all of that in mind, let's get moving. Let's start talking about these action steps that you can start today to destroy these bad habits and these things you've been trying to quit for years. I'm going to help you do that. And I know firsthand that they work because I've used them in my own life. So the first step is start by taking a moment to think about your bad habits. You probably already know what they are, like I mentioned, but if you're having a little trouble figuring it out, think about it for a moment. What things in my life am I doing that I know are not helping me? In fact, they're destroying me. Maybe you've tried to quit them for years and you just need a little extra help. And so during this step, it's going to take an honest evaluation of yourself, your thoughts, your actions, and those habits, which we see that we're doing every day. The reason that I say honest is because we tend to give ourselves passes. We tend to compare ourselves with other people, and we give ourselves a pass because we're not as bad as that person, right? We do that. We need to give ourselves no passes or no excuses for repeating these behaviors. Don't compare your actions to other people's. Just because you drink a little bit and your buddy drinks a lot, that's not helping you, right? Just because you only read sexually explicit books, but you're not watching porn like your husband, that's not a valid excuse. You're still doing it. So we need to stop giving ourselves passes to indulge in our desires and those addictive behaviors that we know are harmful to ourselves. Now, let's move on. So once you've defined which actions are hurting you and the ones that you want to quit, now it's time to find out when and where those trigger moments are. So if certain moments, like, being bored with nothing to do and you're sitting around, if that triggers it, if that triggers your habitual TV watching, and you notice your brain telling your hand, hey, just reach for that TV remote. Let's just watch a couple episodes. That's procrastination, by the way. When we're bored, that's usually when these trigger moments show up. And so once you recognize when those triggers are, you've got to learn how to say no to your brain. That's one thing that really helped me a ton was I said, we have to learn how to say no to ourselves. We got to look inside and say, nope, not today. I'm not doing that today. And keep in mind, guys, each time we say no, it's going to build willpower. And we're going to talk about willpower in a little bit. But each and every time we say no, it's going to get easier and easier, okay? The temptation is still there, but it gets easier to say no as you build that willpower and just take it day by day. One day at a time. Each time you say no is one small victory. Celebrate that victory and just say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do that for today. We're going to see what tomorrow brings. But right now, in this moment, I'm saying no. And when you build that mentality, you bring that with you to tomorrow. And then tomorrow, when that thing pops up that says, hey, you should really do this, you're going to say, nope, not today. Not today. I don't know what tomorrow brings, but I'm not doing it today. Okay? So learn to say no to yourself. One that was really tough for me, and this is a small one in terms of how deep and dark it is, but going to the bathroom, I would bring my cell phone in there, and something that should take, 5 minutes to do, go to the bathroom, wash your hands, and leave, would take me a half hour because I would sit there and start scrolling Facebook, social media, wasting time, even checking my emails, telling myself I'm being productive when really I'm just wasting time. So I've been learning to say no to myself, set the phone away from me. In fact, I do that when we sit down to eat with my family. I say, no, I'm not going to be taking my phone with me, and I set it far away. And that's improved our relationship, our family life. It's just been so helpful. The next thing is we need to replace those poor habits with better ones. For everyone, this is going to be a little bit different, but these better habits you'll decide on by choosing what it is that you actually want to accomplish. So sit down in a silent area, go on a walk without your phone, and think about what it is that you want to accomplish. Could be short term, could be long term, might be a few years from now. Maybe it's something big. You want to invent something or start a business or pay off your mortgage. Those are big ones. It might take some time. But maybe it's something smaller, but still important, like getting in shape, learning something new, taking up a hobby. Those things are relatively attainable in a shorter amount of time. And so once you've established what it is that you want to do, now you need to figure out the action steps on how to get there. Okay, for instance, if your goal is to lose weight, you can do a simple internet search on how to do this. And I say simple, guys, because keep it simple. Keep it simple. Oftentimes, we use complexity as an excuse for not taking action. And don't let that be you, right? We design this huge, complex plan, and here's all the things that I need to do, and here's all the stuff, the steps that it's going to take to get there. And this big, massive, complex plan all of a sudden gets too big. It's like a mountain over us, and we don't know where to start. So just keep it simple. Establish small steps, right? If you're trying to lose weight, find small ways to eat healthier and exercise 3 times a week. It's better than 0. And when you're tempted to eat junk food or sit on the couch, what do? We say no to ourselves. We get up, we get moving, take action, go work out, or cook some healthy meals for the week. That's just one example. But establish action steps that are going to get you there. Now, I know at the beginning of this show, I said today's culture is grind, hustle, hustle, hustle. And we do need to take time to reflect inside of ourselves. But this is important too. Don't sit around taking too much time to decide, because what do they say? The idle hands are the devil's workshop, right? Like I said earlier, being bored is usually where these trigger moments come. When we're by ourselves and nothing to do, that's when the trigger moments typically creep in. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. So get up, get moving. Okay, small action leads to more action. Remember the car in the grass. What you're trying to do is drive a new path until it becomes your new rut. You have to continue to drive over that path. If you drive over it once, if you start this new habit and this new you, trying to improve yourself, you only do it one time, maybe twice, it's not going to sink in. You need to create a new rut and let that old rut grow in. Let that old rut grow grass over it. All right, by the way, guys, practicing saying no to yourself leads to the final and best part of this whole principle. It's this thing called willpower. It's something that we don't hear a lot about in self-development world. The word willpower is obviously made by combining the words will with the word power. Willpower. Both are crucial qualities that you need to possess to succeed at your endeavors. You need to strengthen and build your will so that you'll have the mental fortitude to continue going when things get tough, because trust me, things will get tough, especially if you have a large goal that you're trying to attain. Even if it's a smaller one, sticking with the losing weight. Things are going to get tough. There's going to be times where you're going to be tempted not to exercise or to eat some junk food that you're not trying to eat. It's going to happen. The key to this is building the willpower to say no, right? Building that willpower. And you might meet with defeat at some point, especially if your goal is huge. The bigger the aim, the bigger the opposition. And once your will becomes powerful, you become this sort of like superhuman. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but you do. You become capable of handling almost any situation or any difficulty that arises without succumbing to the urge of giving up and quitting. Let me say that again. When you build your willpower, you become a sort of superhuman, capable of handling almost any situation or difficulty that arises without succumbing to the urge to give up and quit. These are those people that we look at that say everything they touch turns to gold. Everything they take on, they seem to just succeed and crush it and move to the next thing. They're doers. They're winners. Why can't I be like them? Well, I'm here to tell you, you can be like them. You can. I believe in you. I know you can do it. I know anybody can do anything they set their mind to, but you've got to be able to build that willpower. You've got to be able to say no to yourself, and you've got to be able to say yes to yourself on the actions that are going to get you there. So build your willpower. One last thing, and this is important to understand. You're going to be tested and tempted. It's going to happen. Right? As we learn to build our willpower, this sort of strengthening our armor and our shield and our sword, this sort of strengthening it does not come without trials and tests. You don't get stronger and better. You don't build muscle without putting it under an enormous amount of stress. Right? We're going to get tempted and tested. But your willpower will continue to grow if you push back. Have faith that you can do anything that you set your mind to. In this moment where we're talking about being tested and tempted, it reminds me of in the Bible. It's James chapter 1, verse 2 through 4. He says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." Now, I know I just said a lot of words here, but at the beginning he says it's consider it pure joy when you face trials. Who the heck does that? Right? Who the heck says, "Oh, this is great. I'm going through tough times in my finances. Oh, my marriage is struggling. This is awesome. My marriage is struggling. Oh, I'm depressed. This is great. Oh, I have a drinking problem. This is all." No, here's the thing. We don't usually consider it joy when bad things happen to us. But in this verse, he's telling us to consider it joy when you face trials and temptations and tests, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Testing you is going to produce that willpower. It's going to build that strength within you. My prayer for everybody listening is that you're able to overcome and destroy the bad habits that you've been trying to overcome and destroy for so long. You can do it. I know you can. Learn to say no to yourself and build that willpower up. And start taking action on the thing that you want to do the most. And have faith that you can do anything. Thanks so much for listening, guys. And I really hope this message hits home. Even if there was just one thing that stuck out to you, then it was all worth it to me. Now, my goal for the show is to make the biggest impact possible, and I hope you know that I can't do that without you. The way that you can help is by sharing this message with someone you love. Just one person's all I'm asking. We never know how powerful the effect might be, but let's find out together. So if you could, please send it to them right after this. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless you.